ask about is, well, the reason we call you Malum Vogue. How did you get on Vogue? How did that happen?
Okay, I think.
But let's first start with the shoot, the concept.
Okay,
Explain
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Because I see the way that you like get people to pose and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're also a model, yourself, you know.
Something like that, yeah.
Does that help you like envisioning the poses that the people do, or like when you're directing?
Yes and no, because I know there would be certain poses I wouldn't be able to pull off. But you can ask a few of my models. I give them poses, but I also do the pose. But I look funny when I do the pose, but when they do it, the photo looks stunning.
Yeah.
But then I've also YouTube poses to do and all of that, and then obviously you get the standard photos that you'd see, like the very like straight or like things like very basic compositions for like professional photography and stuff like that. And then the one thing that I learned with posing is tell a story, but at the same time as well, don't be afraid to do the unconventional thing. So I think because of who inspires me, especially with that shoot you're talking about, like I've seen on Twitter, I saturate myself with so much like photographers that I see different poses from different styles and all of that. So I think that's where it came to mind. So instead of having like the standard poses that people do for like portfolio shoots and all of that, I've managed to get a creative element to poses from different people as well. But also depends on the type of shoot. So like let's say you're like let's say basic lifestyle shoots. If I wanted to capture clothes, then yeah, the poses would be very let's say straightforward and normal. But I mean, if I have to have like a concept shoot, then we'd throw in props and all of that. So like have fun with them. And yeah, so I think the posing it literally comes down to what I want to tell with that photo. So yeah, that's how I figured it out. Yeah.
So what was the main concept behind that shoot that got on Vogue?
So what happened was that our church, we had a photo shoot for a promotional video for the women's conference that the church was having. And then we did the shoot on the top of like a mountain range and all of that. So I was like, okay, fine. We did this like really early, and this was winter, so I mean like 5 o'clock we're waking up, waiting for the sun to come up, so we're freezing there. So like, okay, so we got to the mountain now, I'm like, damn, I need to come back for my own shoot. And the thing is, it wasn't far, it was like in Irene, so I was like, okay, this is a nice view, I need to come back for my own shoot. And then I took pictures of the view. I didn't take pictures of it. I told the two models about, I told Koleka first, and be like, hey, can you be my model for this space, right? And then I was like, okay, fine, let me find another model. And then I hit up Cooley in the DM on Instagram, and then we took it from there. She was keen from the get-go. And then, yeah. And then the concepts, I got the concept from a guy called Brandon Tondu on Twitter first. And then he's a concept photographer. And then he's always playing around Photoshop, doing crazy things. I mean, he's the same age, but I mean, like his level of thinking and creativity is like here. I'm still trying to get there, but I mean, yeah, his style of photography is what inspired the whole shoot. And then, yeah, and also a guy called, his name is Miles, but he goes by 360 on Twitter and Instagram. In a way, I managed to fuse their styles of photography, and then that is what drove the concept. I don't have a name for like the type of concept itself, but I mean like. I gave Koleka and Kuli like a brief. Okay, this is what we're gonna try capture, and then they came back to me and like, hey, would this outfit work? Would that outfit work? And then yeah, I mean, I took my mom's hats as well because I think it would just be cool just to have a hat in the picture. So yeah, she thought I was crazy because I took like a bunch of them, but I only used like one. So yeah, and then the whole idea was just to get like flowy pictures, like pictures that like not move, but I mean like capturing movement. So we took scarves and then we just moved them around, get waves. Also the clothes they were wearing were very like loose as well. So yeah, that was the concept we were going for. And also I think that's probably the best shoot I've ever done so far, and also by far the most creative one. And yeah, ever since then I haven't really been able to come up with a different concept to top that as well. It's just been like basic shoots of cars and people as well. But yeah, I think that was a very high point in my creativity, and trying to get back to there. But at the same time, it's also what the type of photography I put out is also what I'm going to attract, like the customers I'm going to attract as well. So
Yeah.
it's just trying to find the balance between the business side of photography and the creative side of photography as well. But yeah, but that concept literally came to mind because of Brandon Liu and 360, and I was
So
like,
then
I need to try this.
how did you push it onto Vogue, or how did you
So it's
get noticed
so I
by
think the
Vogue?
one thing people need to understand is that it's not really Vogue magazine. So
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
not like Vogue magazine Italia or whatever, like front cover things. So what Vogue has is, and I've said this before as well on my WhatsApp status, just like to clear the thing.
Yeah.
It's not actually Vogue. It's like whoa.
Yeah.
So it's there. So I think I saw this on Twitter as well from people like Brandon Liu as well. Like their photos got put on Vogue. I'm like, dude, how's your photo on Vogue? Like, I'm like, the photos are fire photos, but I'm like, how'd you get on Vogue? I also want to be on Vogue. And then I kept seeing more creators get featured in Vogue, and I kept seeing the Vogue logo in the bottom corner. And then I was like, okay, fine. And now I'm interested. I need to find out how do we get this. Then I saw somewhere that Vogue Italia has a platform for photographers called Photo Vogue. So that platform is basically like, it's like an Instagram, but Vogue specific Instagram, and they have their own aesthetic going on. So you can't just be like take any photo and expect it to be on Vogue. So they've got their own platform there and their own like creative website for creators as well. So like every day they're posting people every day, and then you create a profile first of all. Anyone can create a profile. So yeah, I created my profile and I was like, I sweet, what photo am I posting first? So I posted. So you can only post twice a week, 2 times a day. So like Monday, Tuesday, you can post 2 photos, and then Monday you post 2 photos, Tuesday you post 2 photos, and then that's the specific time frame they give you, and you have to wait another week if you don't get selected.
Yeah.
So I think like the first 2 attempts, I literally sent out photos from that concept shoot I did with Kuli and Koleka, and then they basically let you know immediately if you get it or not. So as soon as your photo like disappears from like the loading page and all of that, that's when you know, okay, your photo got rejected by the Vogue editors. They're the ones who review the photos, by the way.
Yeah.
So this one time, the one photo of Koleka stayed on my profile, right? And then I didn't notice the Vogue logo, but it stayed on my profile. So your photos only stay on your profile if they pick your photos.
Okay.
So I only realized that like 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
So the photo stayed on my profile. I didn't think much of it because I thought, hey, they're gonna email me. I got a feature or something like that. And then I think that's when I realized that this is not actually Vogue, but really like an Instagram for Vogue. So I was like, okay, fine. And then someone else on Twitter got a Vogue feature, right? And I was like, wait. So she was celebrating the Vogue thing. I was like, wait, I also have this, but I didn't make any noise about it because I didn't think too much of it because it didn't click. And then, like 2 weeks later passed, and then I go back to Vogue and like my photo's there. And then Vogue posted the photo on my profile, so now it's permanent. And that's when they clicked, I have a photo Vogue photo. And then I was like, wow, like damn, the editors of Vogue saw my photo and were like, we want this photo on our platform. And then it was there. And then I think that's where people get confused. It's not as hyped up as people make it to be. So, but it was still an amazing like feeling for me, knowing that like editors of Vogue magazine saw my photo and then they kept it on my profile. So like I know there's not many South African profiles on the Photo Vogue thingy, but then I've like encouraged it before, like, hey, if you want, start Photo Vogue, and then if your aesthetic fits their style, then they literally pick you and all of that. But like in the moment, it didn't click until 2 weeks later when I realized I've got a photo in Vogue, and then I think what also got to my head, I won't lie, gave me a big hit is when other people started like making noise about it. I was like, I put this on Vogue, and then other people were like, hey, Malum Vogue. I don't know how that nickname came from Twitter.
So no, that's what I saw. Like because then you change your Twitter name.
I did
to
change
Malum
it because
Vogue.
it stuck. I mean, like it sounded nice, and then like people who I really can't remember who was the first person to call me Malum Vogue. I really wish I did, because I want to credit that person as well. But that nickname stuck on Twitter, and then I think people started hyping the Vogue thingy now. So I'm like, dude. So on the inside, I'm always like, it's not that deep. But on the outside, I'm like, let me accept it as well. But I think what I can say is that for photographers, check into Vogue as well because it's a really dope platform and it's literally filled with inspiration and articles as well.
Yeah.
And also for fashion designers, they've got a platform for fashion designers if you're interested as well. So yeah, I think that's how that whole Vogue thing worked. Like it was literally just a 2 weeks delayed response type
Yeah.
thing. So yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to get that recognition.
It is. I mean, I throw it in my portfolio, and because the logo's there in the bottom corner, people think this guy's in Vogue magazine. But I mean, like, not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what really helped a lot, and it also gave me a lot of clout, as we'd say on Twitter, and. Yeah, I think ever since then it's just been an uphill path with the photography as well. Like that specific Vogue feature, I think also changed like everything going forward as well. So yeah.
What type of photography do you want to see yourself in, or what type of shoots do you want to be doing?
So this question always like baffles me because I ask myself the same question every
you-
time. Like what do I want to specify in? On my Instagram it's mostly portraits, right? And I've noticed that portraits is what people like seeing because I post other things and they won't get the same attention and all of that. So I love cars. I'm not sure if you guys
I've
know.
seen
Yeah,
your
Yeah, so I love
Especially
cars.
when you go to Matric Dances, half of it is
Exactly,
just
dude,
looking at
like
the
on my
cars.
WhatsApp status,
Hey!
people just, I'm just there for the cars. Like I'll take photos and then I'll hop on and just go watch all the different cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love cars and I think I want to do automotive photography as well, but then I don't want to just do that. So I think portraits is obviously one thing I really like, and then lifestyle photography is something also I go into, like lifestyle slash fashion. And then I think I've experimented with almost every type of photography as well. I love architecture, so I'll randomly take pictures of buildings as well. But then I keep those for more personal things as well. So like I don't post them that much because people don't really like that. So from a business perspective, yeah, that's not what people want to see. But then sometimes I don't care. I'm like, this is what I want you to see. So I'll just put it out. So yeah, I think I love capturing architecture. I love capturing candid photos. What else? Concert photography is new, but also not new. So I take photos at our church as well. And we've got like a stage and all the lights there. And for like the past few months, that's where I've been manifesting the skill of content photography, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've been taking photos because we also have got the stage lights and all of that, singers and all of that. So in a way,
You know how to take
exactly. So like when it came to in the city, it wasn't something new. It was like I've done this before. I've worked with this lighting. I can do it again. So I think for content photography, I've been manifesting it via taking photos at church, and then automotive photography. It's I did it for the first time this year, obviously, and then we collabed again, me and Kanka for the first time. We hit up a friend of mine. His cousin has a Golf 7R, and they were like, "Hey, can we do a shoot with the Golf R?" And then yeah, we worked together, and that one Justin was there as an assistant as well. So was his car. We used his car as like a ladder as well to get certain shots. So yeah, I think in automotive photography, that's one thing I want to do. Portraits, obviously. And then I'm trying to branch into studio photography, so like working with the lights and all of that, and the equipment. So I think that's something I want to not specialize in, but also something to work on because I've done everything else. I've done like the normal portraits, natural light portraits, automotive shoots, and all of that. So I think business-wise, studio photography looks like the next step to go to. So yeah, that's where I think I'm gonna go to now.
So how do you also manage the business side and your creative side? Because I'm sure a lot of people want pictures from you.
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
also have to do your own creative work.
So I think for my creative side is where I have my own concepts and where I initiate the photo shoot with a model. So a lot of my businesses this year have been Matric Dances. So last year when I started getting into photography I did 2 Matric Dances, and then they went really well. But then after that it was just like dry for a moment, and then at the beginning of this year, one person from Cornwall hit me up so in Jan, I was already booked for a Matric Dance that happened in September.
Sure.
So I was like,
Yeah.
what? Okay, so that was the first one that came. So I was like, okay, fine. This
Yeah.
looks promising. And then March, I did an MD Girls Eye. And then just to fast forward, so last year I did 2 Matric dances. This year I did, if I remember correctly, I think about 14 Matric dances.
Yo,
Like,
that's
if
great.
if I
dude.
count all like the shoots, like all the photos
Yeah.
of different schools, I think 14, and then I'm still on track to do 2 more as well. Before like the year ends and all of that, because all the matrics
Yeah.
are doing finals now. So yeah, I think that's the business side of it definitely picked up because of the creative side, I think, as well. So because I didn't just take conventional photos, people are like, okay, I want this guy because he's creative to take my photos.
Yeah.
Like he looks good, and it's not that they want like concepts as well for the Matric dance. They just want basic photos. But then they picked me because they saw what of my like my other work and all of that. So it's like yeah. So I think the balance comes into actually I don't think there's like really a balance. I think they right now they sort of go hand in hand because my creativity is the reason why my business goes up. So they sort of work together. And then I think the only thing that I can say is like a disadvantage from the business going up is the fact that I can't be as creative. Because if it's a business, from a business perspective, then I have to follow the brief of the client and what they want and all of that. So it limits creativity, but at the same time, it's a challenge. Like, how can I add the LK14 touch to what this person wants? So yeah, I think that's finding the balance between the two is literally that. But my creativity is what has driven the business side of photography a lot, especially when it comes to editing as well. So yeah.
When did you start charging people and finding the right price? How did you get
So the first shoot I ever charged someone was for the first Matric dance I did last year. That was the first shoot I ever charged someone, and I gave them a base price for the whole thing instead of an hourly rate. Hourly rate, sorry. So I was just like, okay, fine. Let's pick this amount and we'll go for it. And then yeah, I think I did that for the first 2 shoots I did last year, and then I don't think I haven't really done like or well, let's say just after that time of the Matric dances, I didn't do portrait shoots, paid portrait shoots, because no one came to me and be like, hey, can you take photos of me and can we do this? It was always me asking people for shoots and all of that. So I think 90% of all the money I've gotten through photography has been through Matric dances, especially this year. And then others have been through events as well. And then a few portfolio shoots that people have asked me to do for them as well. So yeah, I think the first time I ever charged someone, sorry for going around again, but the first time I ever charged someone was last year for the first Matric dance I did. They offered to pay. So yeah, and then yeah, I think going forward, I learned how people in photography charge and what they charge for and all of that. And I learned that an hourly rate works best because I mean you're charging people for labor, like it's a service. So you can't be like, okay, I'll give you a base price and all of that. But it's not a product where it's a once-off thing. It's labor because I still have to go home and edit the photos. I still have to drive to the shoots, drive home, and all of that. So I think learning, the more I did it, the more I learned about it. And then also, again, with the mentor that I once had, he helped me as well, figuring out how much photographers pay as well. And then in Kanka as well, he also helped me, and then he told me like how he prices certain things as well, why he prices certain things like that, and then gear rental also comes into play. But yeah, that's how my rates work. My rates are now like on an hourly base, and then also it also depends on the type of shoot that you want.
And what is it? The people, like the amount of pictures you give someone at the end, is it also part of your hourly rate, or does it change?
It changes every shoot. So like I never cap my photos. Like I don't think I like giving people options. I know a lot of photographers, they'll charge, let's say like 1.5 for 20 edited photos. And they justify why it's 20 photos for 1.5. I mean, like equipment and all of that, but that's like a professional level. But at the moment, I don't feel like I have the rights to be charging 1.5 for 20 photos because I'm still starting out. Like I'm basically still a beginner. And yeah, so I think in that regard, it's literally I just give you photos. Like I edit photos, and I take a lot of the same photos. Like it's very repetitive, so I like try cut it down. Like for example, in 2 hours, I'll take 400 photos. I'd end up giving you, let's say, 110 or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I try not to cap the photos, so I just give people variety as well. So yeah.
Do you edit every single photo that you give them, or you give
Yes.
them some raw? Everyone.
Oh no, I never send out raws. Like
It's a mistake.
it's a tricky situation. Like different photographers like sending out clients the raw photos, and then some clients do ask for it. But I don't prefer sending out raw photos because I feel like, okay, I took this photo. Now you're gonna do your own thing on top of that,
Yeah.
or something like that. But
And they
I
put your name on it.
exactly, it's like certain things. Like you could take credit for a photo I took, and then because your edit is bad, it makes me look bad because I took the
Yeah.
photo. So I think um, I don't like giving out raw photos because I'm not afraid, but I don't like what they could do, like giving them the power that they could change the photo. And because of that, word of mouth and all of that, they'll be like, okay, this is a bad photo. It's actually just a bad edit. And because of that, it reflects on me more than anything else. So I think that's I try to stay away from sending raw photos. I send raw photos on the odd occasion, like I would send, let's say, like the edited photos, like all of them, and then 2 days later the client be like, hey, can you please send me the raw photos? I'm like, oof. And then I'm like, why? And then they're like, no, I just want the raw photos. And I'm like, okay, fine, I don't mind sending them to you. And then as well with the editing, like I consult with the clients on what type of edits they want. So while I'm editing, I'll be like 1, 2 photos. This one has this style of editing. This one has a different style of editing. I'll be like, okay, which one do you want? Do you like either of them, or do you don't like any of them? And like, how do you want me to edit? Do you want it warm? Do you want it cold? And all of that. So I really consult with clients when editing photos so that they don't come back to me and be like, hey, can you edit it like this? Or can we have the raw photos because we weren't happy with the original photos? So
Yeah, and that time you've
the
already edited all 100
exactly.
photos.
I mean, like
and it's
that's
like,
labor gone. That's time
yeah.
gone as well. So like I'd stay up late editing photos so I can get them done as soon as possible because I want to do other things like varsity work as well. So yeah, I try give clients their photos with a minimum week. So
Sure, okay.
yeah, so as soon as the shoot is done, I get home, start editing and all of that. So yeah, and depending on how I
Life is.
like how they want, like and how life is as well.
Yeah.
Minimum a week is the brief I give them, but sometimes I can deliver in like 2, 3 days as well. So yeah.
And those clients that push for quick delivery.
Oh, I'll be honest, that it's mostly parents who push for quick delivery. Like I remember this one time I did a Matric Dance shoot. As soon as I got home, they wanted a photo. I was like, oh wait. So I think with parents, they just want photos. Like they're not picky with how their photos come up, and parents don't hesitate to pay. I've noticed. Like when talking to clients or like the let's say the Matric Dance students themselves, they sometimes hesitate with prices as well, all of that. But when you speak to parents directly, they don't hesitate. They pay on time, they pay before the shoot, full amount and all of that. And I think they rush the whole thing because they think like I can edit immediately. So I think so some parents ask for like a few photos just to show off that hey, my daughter went to an MD, like to show their friends and all that. And as far as possible, I try to accommodate certain parents as well because they ask nicely. It's not like they're being rude about it. So I'll be like, hey ma'am, sorry, I'm just busy or something at the moment. I'll be like, I'll give an excuse, but at the same time, I just need you to like to rest or something like that, like something like that. So yeah, I try give out, like I said, photos as quick as possible to avoid people hammering me for their photos and all of that. And at the same time, I don't like harboring photos for a long time because I mean the way my mind works, I need to edit before I do anything else. So the longer I have edits, the less time I have to do other things as well. So yeah, I try to do it as quick as possible to avoid people asking me for photos immediately as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up there. I feel like we could talk for
We could.
for hours.
We could.
But no, it's been great. I just want to touch on like in terms of being a photographer, I think like some of the points you raised are quite important. For instance, collaborating with other people who have knowledge of photography and just working together, sharing knowledge like that. And then also just practice. Like from what you said, like putting in the hours, and that's how you develop your skill. And then it doesn't really matter what your equipment is.
Exactly, it literally doesn't. And then I think the main thing in photography is always be willing to learn. Like always, even if you're at the top, if you're not willing to learn, you won't grow. You won't find out what you like, what you don't like. Because I think the practice parts is where you figure out what you like shooting the most, where you figure out your niche and all of that. So I still don't have my niche yet. That's why I just shoot everything still. But yeah, like practice. And if you aren't willing to learn, and if you're big-headed and stuff, then you really won't make it far in photography as well. Like you need to humble yourself in this field, and then
big facts. Big facts. Humble yourself.
So, just a quick question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with the photography thing?
5 years? Tricky question, because I mean, every year something comes up and it changes the way I want to do things. So like last year, photography was just like a side thing. Now this year's photography seems like the main thing. Yeah. And now, very soon in Kanka and Ireland, we'll start like our own Instagram page as well. That specializes in like event photography, and then it's us basically collaborating and then using both our like popularities, bringing them together, making it more business. Because I mean, me and him, we've done Matric Dances together this year, like a lot. Like he handles the videography part of when I get booked, he hands the videography, because I can't do videography yet. So like I hit him up and like, hey, are you available? And he'll be like, yeah. And then we work, come up with the price, send it out. So I think in the future, that's where it looks like it's going to go. The thing is, every year it's going to change. I can't give you a definite answer, but I mean, the way it looks like it, I think photography is going to be like a big part of my life. I can't say it'll be the main thing because I mean, life is expensive, but photography is also expensive as well. So I think it'll be very difficult to live off photography alone. Like it's really tough right now to become a full-time photographer. And I think the lifestyle I want to live in the future needs something else as well. But at the same time, I'm trying to like change my way of thinking to avoid that. So I think 5 years time, hopefully I'll be done with school, I'll be done with my honors. And I want to work within marketing because I think with marketing it will allow me to still be creative. And if I throw in photography in my CV, I mean it's another thing. So like I can have like the company has an in-house photographer if I get hired or anything like that. But I think going in 5 years time, I'm literally going to have to choose between freelancing and working for someone else as well. But I take it step by step.
Not in a rush.
Yeah, not in a rush.
Dude. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing your knowledge and everything. It was cool for me personally to hear all your stories, and I've taken quite a bit from this.
This was my first time, so I think this was really nice. Like I don't want to get used to it, but I mean like it's a good start.
But maybe we can have another conversation in the future.
Part 2 coming.
Yeah,
bringing Kanka with us. I mean,
Dude, that'd be cool. Cool. We need to set that up. But so they can check you out at everything's LK14, right?
Not really. On Instagram, it's LK14, but the 14 is in words. Or in the search bar, just type in LK14 with a number. You'll see me. I'm still trying to get Instagram to give me the LK14 username. And then on Twitter, it's Lesedi_LK14. You can follow me there. Sometimes I'm funny, sometimes I post photos, sometimes I'm not funny. And then if you need to hit me up in the emails, it's lk14photography@gmail.com. That's where you can make your bookings. And otherwise just DM me on the Instagram, follow me, I'll follow you back. If your profile looks nice. No, I'm joking. No, I'm just playing. Just follow me on social media. Follow all the people that I mentioned earlier on, Kanka, Kate. And I think that's a wrap.
Dope. Sure. So just from our side, you can check us out on social media. Everything is lenslane.co. If you want to get in touch, the email is contact@lenslane.co. Check out our online store to support us and support the other people whose brands we have on there. And together everything is light work. Deuces.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Never forget.
Alright, thanks man.
That was
dope, bro.
That was really nice. How was it?